Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here. My name is Lars, and I'm from the company called Figo. If you think Figo, that sounds familiar. Maybe if you paid attention to the pitch of Munya of Pick Technologies right now, we are competitors of them, so we are in the same space. We describe ourselves as a banking service provider. We went live in Germany at the beginning of 2014, and 2014 it was just the beginning of the fintech hype. So there were a couple of fintech startups who were interested in our technologies. There were also banks there, but to be honest, at the beginning of 2014, banks described us as their enemy. Now, fast forward April 2016, the landscape has completely changed. So there are many more fintech startups out there. They are completely convinced about a banking service provider, and also banks are getting more open to it. But let's describe a little bit what is the vision behind the company. When we're comparing it to other industries, we've seen a lot of innovation outside of financial service industries. It's social media, or companies like Uber have developed rapidly, and one of the main reasons, or bigger reason for them, is because they were using APIs. They were not doing everything by themselves. They knew they have to focus on the core product, and just for the other parts which are required but not the core, they used other services, or very often through APIs. So that's exactly what we do. So if you want to compare a banking service provider like Figo to other industry, it's probably best to compare it to companies like Twilio or Stripe. So Twilio is in the telecommunication sector. So let's assume you want to integrate telecommunication services into your product. You want to send text messages to your customers. You don't do it yourself. You use another company. Of course, you could do it yourself, but it's not what your core competency is. So use a company, Twilio. Even better example is probably the payment service providers like Stripe. When the e-commerce shops were developing, all of them tried to do payments by themselves until the payment service provider came up and they realized, I don't need to do it. It's just payments. Just I have to offer it. I have to do it, but it's not something at my core. So rather use a provider for that. And mainly due to PSD2, the new directive from European Union, we'll see the same in financial industry. So what is exactly a banking service provider? Was described this very well, so I'm going to say it again. It's we are the man in the middle, like the friendly man in the middle. Up we can see banks, credit cards, investment portfolios, all the financial sources as we described, and everything where you can store value, where you can keep your money. We're connected to them, and through a single API, we enable developers and developers to connect to these services. And for example, it takes around a day. We're even hosting hackathons in Germany, and see some people just take a couple of hours to connect to these sources, which has usually required some a month of projects. Just a few KPIs where we are right now. As mentioned, we started at the beginning of 2014. We started in Germany. Now we're in Germany and Austria. We're connected to more than 50 million financial sources, so bank accounts, credit cards, and so forth. Around 14 API calls per second, around 40 million per month. With a very straightforward freemium model. So there are around 600 developers who have access to our API, who do something, and nearly 50 of them are in a paid environment where they're using us. A little bit about like when we started, as I mentioned at the beginning, 2014. We couldn't talk to banks. I mean, we tried to talk to banks, but if we're very honest, talking to German banks at the beginning of 2014, they didn't even know what PSD2 was. They didn't want to spend time with it. So we realized first we have to find some other use cases. So first use cases were classical B2B tools, invoicing tools who wanted to access financial data. And then afterwards we went from use case to use case and found more usage of a banking API. And the same also on the size of the company. So when we started, we realized we need some quick wins to show that our product is relevant. So we started, of course, with other startups, who some of them we contacted, and then within a week they completely implemented us. And 2015 we already focused on some bigger players like the German Post, who was using us, and companies called Aux Money and so forth. And since a couple of months we have a strong focus on the banks as well. The main reason for this development, as mentioned, is the PSD2 and the access to bank account. I don't know if some of you have been in attending the panel in the morning about PSD2. PSD2 and access to bank account is all about freeing the data of the customer. So our data, what we have in the bank account, is our data. But until now, banks always kept it in a silo and didn't anyone want to access us. They mentioned security or data privacy as a reason, but at the end, it was just the incumbents trying to keep the position as a leader in the industry and to not let innovators enter it. And the European Union thankfully realized that is not a situation which can continue, and so PSD2 is implementing a new term called third-party provider. That's basically what we will be. We will be able to access the financial sources, and PSD2 is a massive driver for us. We wouldn't be right now here today if PSD2 wouldn't be coming into law in 2018. As I said, we are from Germany. We are based in Hamburg in the north of Germany. We expanded to Austria in February this year, and it was just the beginning for us because PSD2 at the end is a European thing, and there's a big need in all European countries. So we are taking now next steps to expand to further countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lars.
Who are your main customers? I mean, German startups and banks, or you're focusing to host foreign fintech startups inside Germany?
Yeah, at the moment, as we started in Germany, and our approach was first to start at the startups, it's from the 50 companies who are paying us around 30 to 40 classical fintech startups. So companies
from Germany?
From Germany, yeah.
And do you want to promote yourself for foreign fintech companies which want to go to other countries like Germany?
Yeah, for example, of course. I mean, we are in Germany. There are not many competitors for us, and we are in Germany kind of the forerunner in API banking. So we are kind of an attractive player to talk to when someone wants to expand to Germany. But as I said, Germany was for us just was the starting point. There are other countries, maybe not all SEPA countries, but there are other SEPA countries in Europe which are also highly interesting for us.
Lars, I have a question for you. Yeah. So I think this is something that all startups that are presenting today have to deal with, but you decided to start selling into banks. And we all know banks are difficult, it takes a long time. So what have been the learnings so far, and have you found any trick to successfully sell into banks?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, we started in the beginning of 2014. We went to banks, a couple of banks, specific banks in Germany. We had very good connection to them. For us, we thought it's an easy sell because there's such a big need for a service like ours that could easily integrate us. And we faced many issues, and that's why we shifted the strategy and first went to the startups to say, okay, selling to banks is quite tough. So they have different issues from regulation, security, and so forth. But one of them was, of course, they wanted to have a proven platform. So we said, okay, we cannot sell to banks until we can sell to someone else. So that's why we shifted and went to startups to start with the small ones and go to the bigger ones. And having the German Post or Aux Money as a customer is already at this point of time an easier door opener with banks. But yeah, to be honest, as I said, it was no joke. At the beginning of 2014, some banks didn't know what PSD2 was, and they thought they'd never have to care about it. And now when we're talking to banks, now banks are contacting us and saying, hey, I heard about PSD2 and I heard you can do something about it.
Did you sell to a bank yet?
Not yet, but very soon there's going to be a big announcement about that.
Okay, let me ask a final question. So how do you guys, what's your business model? Is it transaction based purely, or account based?
We have two different models. One is API call-based model, so that's for like a one-time access of the financial account. So, for example, for credit scoring or user identifications, and we have also a monthly active user model for PFMs or banking apps.
All right. Great. All right, Lars.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. Big applause.